Good morning. Have a help. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm in the process of attempting so you guys can see what's going on. All right. So, it's a big deal for me to make sure you guys on Whatnot and the adjoined streaming sites, Facebook and YouTube, are able to see what's going on as you come into the show. And these are the things that I'm putting on the screen. Okay, so today we are working. Well, first of all, welcome to the Flux Continuum. All right, today's Flux Vision is about Jonathan Watson. Okay, and he's one of the characters, one of the main characters, Zodiac Guardians. Okay, turn this down just a tad. I'd rather you guys hear me. Now, I know you guys might hear a little something going on in the background, but my office happens to be next to the washer and dryer, and you know, again, it should go off in like 9 minutes, probably about 5 minutes. But if you guys will just hang tough with me, we'll get there. Okay, so let me bring all of this in. I thought I heard too much echo on the last show. Again, right? Always working to do things better. So, Jonathan Watts, Flux Vision. Flux stands for the first line of defense for unprecedented extremes. Okay, that is a story, or this is an ongoing series of the Lords of Chaos versus the Lords of Order. Okay. Um, the Lords of Order, well, we will get with those guys. I've already gone through each of the actual characters. Now I'm going through the book itself, right? We're going to go through book 1, 2, and then possibly some insight on book 3. I'm technically on book 5 right now. I still need to publish book 4 and then book 5. So this is an ongoing series. I'm 52 years old. I believe I should have this done by the time I'm 55, right? The entire 12 book series. So this is what I'm doing. A little bit about myself. For anybody that's joining is brand new, I saw that I did get a few subscribers. So thank you for coming through. So anyways, Flux, a little bit about me. So real quick, I was in the military, right? And I got out of the military. And while I was getting out of the military, let me see, can I show this? Right, here we go. This is my bio and the whole nine. So when I was getting out the military, we found out I was sick, right? Cancer. Let's go ahead, and everybody seems to be getting it now, right? And I got it. Took about 2-3 years, and I finally went into remission, right? I don't want to go through everything I had to go through, but I had to go through a lot. Finally got it done. And then and while I was doing that though, I was writing this story. Okay. Or let's say this story was in my head and I was writing a lot of notes. And then I eventually end up putting all of these notes together, which, I fluidly made sure that, the story is an ongoing story, right? But it's so detailed because of all the notes, and I know where to place the notes at and what book and whatnot, and I know what all is going to be in each book. So anyway, um, and then I decided, my wife, she got with me and she was like, hey, you need to do something with this, like for real, for real. So again, I started pushing the brand. We started going out to Comic Cons, things like that. We started vendoring at like a few malls, anything to put the story out. And what I didn't have was an online presence. Now, have I been putting things out for a long time? Yes, but not, let's say, consistently, right? So I might put something out for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I might not put something out for another week. So I had to start, learning to do it every day. And that way the fans will get at least used to, like, hey, okay, he's going to put something out Monday through Saturday because Sunday is a day of rest. So, Monday through Saturday. So that's what I'm doing. And, to give you a little bit more, and if you guys need to see me, you guys let me know, okay? I'm just trying to show everybody. I got 6 different streams going right now, so I just want everybody to be able to see what I am discussing. I will put a video clip up that will give you information on the character of today. So, which brings you to today. But before I get into where we're gonna start, we always got to pay the bills, right? So, um, we have Mr. Wasinki Baminde, who's the chief abundant consultant, and Alexis McCrae, Mrs. Alexis McCrae, and she covers mental illness here in El Paso. I think she's from Alaska. I've been looking into her background. And she's been working with the VA veterans, the veterans for like I want to say 12 years. I think I saw 12 years. So she's been doing this for a while. She's relatively young too. She's like 30 something, like 15 years younger than me. So she's out here, and this is what she's doing with her life. But both of those guys, Miss McCrae and Mr. Baminde, made sure that I was able to get to this event that's coming up April 26, 27, and 28 in Atlanta. Again, I got to put it out and let you guys know. Yes, Atlanta, right? I'm excited about that. It's an urban nerd con, and it's a place where anybody who has something new and they want to premiere it to the world, this is the way to do it. So Atlanta being definitely a tourist spot, and it's a lot of activity going on there. You never know what can happen. So these guys called me and basically asked me if I want to be involved, and next thing you know, I get to go. And I just want to say thank you for whoever shared the post and everything for these guys. Duran, they just said they saw me online, and that's how it happened. So again, I just want to thank everybody else who did that. Now, real quick, what you see in front of you is the 3 books, right? I do have them. Oh man, I don't think I attached it to the show. My apologies, y'all. Again, always trying to make sure I'm as professional as possible. Is it possible for me to put something on here now? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if I tagged my shop to the show today, but if you go out there and you look for me, I do have a few deals. I did attempt to put a few things, or I wanted to put a few things out there, like the big poster. So I used to have another poster out there. I considered a 3D poster, had 3 images within it. Well, somebody already came and got that. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes people see it and they love it, and then it happens. But the poster behind me, I have a lot of these, right? Not the frame, just the poster itself. But I went to the annex, the poster, and it costs a lot. So I didn't want, I got to talk to Whatnot and make sure they'll still cover it, because it's a little absurd just to send a $10 poster, and it costs more to ship it than the poster costs. So again, I'm gonna work on that and see can we find some type of deal or something. See what Whatnot say about it, and then we'll move forward. Okay. Well, that's me paying the bills. That's me letting you guys know, why you're here and what you're learning about. So let's get into it, and I'll try to spread that stuff out from now. So the character that we will do, and I've been introducing the characters so far. Okay, and these are the characters right here. These are the Zodiac Guardians. Each one of those Zodiac Guardians is a defender of your constellation. We got a lot of stuff coming, but I don't want to get ahead of myself and let you know what's coming. But there's a lot coming, and each one of the constellations need a defender. Okay. There's so much going on in Flux, guys. So you got to, get the book, but we're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. Now, what I've done so far is I started off with Dr. Afanasi Siddharah, who was able to open a portal on the other side of the universe. And y'all, we getting into it now. So if you didn't know, now you know. So Dr. Afanasy Sidorov, he opened up a portal on the other side of the universe. Long story short, he brought something back with him, right? Or something else came back with him. It sprayed across the earth. Several individuals were chosen, okay? And I'll get into that one day and let you know way down the line and why they were chosen. But for right now, they were chosen. And each one of these characters I've been introducing to you guys so far. So today we're on Pulse, okay? So Pulse, this is what Pulse was doing. This is like the beginning of the book. We're on page 35 right now, the bottom of page 35, where it says Jonathan Watson. I'm going to show you guys the video first and let you guys, get the narrated version of it. And then we come back and we talk about, John, one of my partners, John. Yeah, I stole his name. And put him into the book, right? But anyway, you guys will get to hear that when I come back, okay? So let me go ahead and get you guys ready for that, and then we'll what will we do after that? Then I'll come back and give you guys what's going on this end, okay? I got to turn this down, make sure that the TV don't blow you away. I think about 25 should be good for whatnot people to hear. Okay, here we go. DJ JB Money. Yeah. Now this a word of mouth jingle. Flux. Let's go. K-Top. Zodiac Guardian. Yeah. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Yeah. Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Zodiac Guardian. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Yeah. Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Zodiac Guardian. It's mine, I gotta get mine. I need all the gear with the zodiac signs. Yeah, what's mine? I gotta find mine. I need all the gear with the zodiac sign. Capricorns, what's up? You so smart, you know what's up. All my Leos, you so fierce. Scorpios, they keep it clear. All my Aries know you strong. Gemini can't get it wrong. Aquarius, Pisces, and Taurus, Leo, Virgos, here we go. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, yeah. Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Zodiac Guardian. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, yeah. Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Zodiac Guardian. Purchase and donate at flux-zodiac.com. Yeah.
Jonathan Watson, Pearl City Police Department, PCPD. Pearl City, Hawaii, USA, Earth. It's been a long day for Detective Jonathan Watson. His unit has spent the day busting a local drug cartel. It took Jonathan 6 months to gather enough evidence for the appropriate warrants, and now he has last to complete his paperwork that chronicles the day's events. He drops the paperwork off at Lieutenant Strickland's office. A retired veteran that still has some fight left in him, Lieutenant Strickland waves Detective Watson into his office and completes his phone call. That was an awesome job today, Detective. You kept your head, and your team brought down the Barracuda Surf Gang, the lieutenant said with a grin on his face. Jonathan nodded in agreement and drops the report on the desk. The gang's 2 homicidal leaders got away, sir. Eno and Wall. The lieutenant reassures Detective Watson that they will be found. Once he leaves the precinct, Jonathan jumps onto his motorcycle. After an excellent day's work, he decides to stop at the Cove, a local hangout frequented by officers from his precinct. The Cove has become the traditional meeting spot for celebrations after a big bust, and taking down the gang is a massive win for the PCPD. This criminal organization is finally being abolished, and the people of Pearl City can sleep a little safer. Jonathan mentally recaps the day's events while he rides to the bar. The PCPD were so close to finally apprehending Eno and Wall, but those maniacs managed to slip away during the raid. These two have caused enough mayhem in Pearl City, totaling in the hundreds of millions. His thoughts are interrupted by a traffic jam. Can't quite make out the reason for the delay. After maneuvering his bike through the vehicles, he arrives at the source of the incident. Immediately jumping off his bike and into action, Jonathan runs to assist those in the accident involving a minivan and a delivery truck. 3 people are trapped inside the minivan. Jonathan calls the accident in and checks on the passengers. "I'm Detective Watson. Is everyone okay?" he asks the man assisting the people trapped inside. "Hey, Detective, I'm Tommy," he responds while helping the mother out the window. The family are a little shook up, but everyone survives with minor injuries. After getting the family out of the minivan, Jonathan checks on the truck driver. The driver is more concerned about the children in the minivan. Once emergency medical services arrive at the location, Jonathan briefs the paramedics. After he has done all he can to assist, Jonathan continues on his way to the cove. When he arrives at the bar, Carl greets him at the door. Carl's been his partner and best friend for 8 years. The bar is full of policemen celebrating the PCPD's raid on the surfer gang. Carl cheers and the crowd lifts their glasses in honor of Jonathan. "To my partner, Detective Watson. Thanks for the save today, brother." Carl lifts his glass higher and shouts out to those in the bar, "Detective Watson!" Those in the bar echo Carl's words, "Detective Watson!" Watson's quick thinking earlier saved several officers' lives. He's located a set of grenades, which were daisy-chained and could have killed several police officers. When gang members began to flee the hideout, their getaway was cut off, and they ran straight into the PCPD. All the police in the bar enjoyed themselves for a couple of hours, celebrating making a difference today, until Jonathan receives a mysterious telephone call from an unknown number. He moves away from the others as he answers. "Hello?" An ominous voice speaks in an alarming tone. "You messed up really big this time, oh Apollo." Jonathan looks up from the phone and out the window. He sees a squad of heavily armed mercenaries aiming assault rifles at the bar. Before he can shout a warning to his comrades, bullets shatter the windows of the bar. With barely any time to react, Jonathan drops to the floor. He's helpless to watch as his partner takes a bullet to the abdomen. Jonathan draws his weapon and begins firing at the gunmen outside. Their firepower easily overwhelms Jonathan's single-shot attack. There's chaos in the bar as every cop reacts and aimlessly shoots out the window. A shooter kicks in the door and sprays the room. 2 more cops are hit. "You're gonna learn not to mess with the Barracudas," the shooter yells as bullets continue to rip through policemen. Jonathan fires twice and hits the shooter in the leg. The shooter is down, but the door remains open. Jonathan kicks the door closed and makes his way over to unarm the shooter. When he reaches the shooter, a glowing object flies through the window, striking him. Jonathan is immediately incapacitated and begins to hover above the floor. The shooter crawls to the door as Jonathan's form is overtaken by light. Those in the bar witnessing the event will describe it as an unknown weapon. When the shooter attempts to flee, he's shot in the back. They continue to shoot at the attacking gang members. Jonathan's body intensifies until it's too bright to bear. When the onslaught of bullets stop, multiple vehicles can be heard screeching away. Jonathan's glowing body flickers and coalesces upon itself until it completely vanishes. Carl finally recovers from having the wind knocked out of him, just in time to see Jonathan's form disappear. Carl was still wearing his last chance vest, and to think he almost took it off earlier. "What the?" are the words that escape Carl's mouth. Everyone attempts to rationalize an open attack on a bar full of policemen. The officers that didn't survive will be avenged. The Barracuda surf gang are now at war with the PCPD.
Okay, y'all. I'm back. All right. So far we got 3 books. Flux Celestial Genesis. That's the book we're currently going through right now. Page 35, 36, and 37. 38. Wow, 39. I must have wrote a lot on him. I must have liked his episode. That's kind of how I look at each individual sub chapter within the book. I look at them like mini episodes. You know what I mean? Some of them like 5 minutes, some of them 10 minutes. But again, yeah, we would put it all together for a movie, correct? Yeah, we all know that. But anyway, we got Flux Celestial Genesis, Flux Sequence of Astrometry, and Flux Astro Zodiac Alignment. Um, book one, 20. Book two, 20. But book three is 25. All books come with an autograph, uh, Flux Continuing stamp, and the company raised seal. So if you've been out there looking, the guy who bought the 3D poster and the gentleman that bought the 3D poster, and he bought a few other items. And I put it out online. He's the guy that had the truck with the Ares character. He's the one that had the car with the Ares character, right? Ember. Monet Lagos, right? We already went past her, but yeah. So he's the guy who got that, and he had bought. I had a few things here that I hadn't put out to the world yet, or possibly they were just one of a kind. He copped a few of those things too. Yeah, I mean he's a great supporter, right? I mean I don't know if you guys saw the white Infinity with all the red on it, and then he had I want to call it an Astro. I think I don't know what type of vehicle, some type of SUV with Aries in a stealth uniform, like a camo print. So I thought that was ingenious, right? Anyway, look, so let's get to it, right? We're on Jonathan Watson today. Let me see, Bren. Thank you, Bren, for the love. Jonathan Watson. Where is he? Come on, Pulse. There we go. So today he's the Paladin of Taurus. Well, he's not right now. Right now he's just Jonathan Watson, right? Okay, so what's so great about Jonathan, right? He was and I didn't really define if the characters are considered the good or bad of society, because I feel like they got something else coming right now, and we don't need all that attitude. So I fixed the story so that it takes care of that kind of stuff. Okay. Um, so anyway, Jonathan Watson is a detective, right? This is what we find this character at, and this is his first appearance, right? So he comes in. Well, we show up, right, and he's doing his detective thing. He's at the office. He basically saves some people. Um, I don't know. Well, I can't say that, but for you guys who've ever been in like combat, um, police officers, firemen, first responders. When you come across, it's an adrenaline rush, and you don't necessarily come off it that easy though. Not really, not really. It generally takes a while to come down off of the adrenaline. It's worse than adrenaline. Tell you the truth, 'cause you're so hyperactive, so amped up. It's almost like, if you didn't train, I could see you doing something silly. But if you trained for it, then yeah. And you have to know, okay? It's not easy to explain this rush. It could be traumatic too when it happens. It could be a whole lot of things going on. But anyway, that's what Jonathan found himself at. He was still in the office. And maybe that's what paperwork is for. You reflecting on what just transpired, and maybe you're able to process it easier. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist, okay? But it does make sense. Maybe that's why police have to do paperwork so they can write it out, and probably process, what they went through. So maybe they're able to move on with their lives. So anyway, Jonathan, he saved all these people. He's knocked out the paperwork. Um, oh yeah, his what's the senior to a detective? Lieutenant, the lieutenant, is complimenting him on his job well done today. Not only did he save some people, but they also caught like majority of the bad guys. You know what I mean? That's like a win-win right there for them. So yeah, he knows, like, Jonathan, they, or at least they portray it like this. I've been in combat, but I've never been a detective or a policeman that, maybe that has a nemesis. And that's the only way I know how to say it. It's a person that the police really want to catch that individual that they know who did it, but for somehow they keep slipping through their hands for whatever reason. And then it almost becomes like a passion, I guess. I don't even know. I don't even have the words for it, but it's not like you're addicted to it though. But you almost feel like it's your calling to catch this individual who's probably caused so much harm. And I think that's kind of how Jonathan perceives Eno and Wall. These are the two leaders, right? These are the two that can actually get all the people that's in Hawaii, that just the regular everyday citizens of Hawaii, not the tourists, not the people that visit, or come there for meetings or whatever. That we talking about the people, right? They have a connection with the people, and Wall, and he knows how, like, these guys, and like and this is the story I would probably tell, in Jonathan Watson's own story, right? We would tell how Eno and Wall have sunk uh cruises, then for the drug game. You know what I'm saying? They got to get their product, so they'll do whatever it takes to get their product. So he considers those guys like borderline insane, right? So they got away, and you got the lieutenant to letting them know, hey man, like they really don't have nowhere to go, because all of the people, they caught most of the bad guys, right? They shouldn't have too many places to go and hide. But that's only if they stay in Hawaii. That's only if they stay in Hawaii. I mean, I think it would be easy to get off an island of that size. I guess unless maybe you have some type of port security circling the islands and they watching everything. But anyway, we're not even going down that road. Anyway, so Eno and Wall, they might, resurface again later in the Flux continuum, but you have to stay tuned to find out. Anyway, Watson, Jonathan, he's on his way to I guess to meet everybody at the bar. I mean, maybe that's what the policemen do there. They all meet at the bar after a good bus. Um, and happens to see an accident, and then this is to give you the action visual, because that's kind of how I saw it. I was looking at it like a movie while I was writing it, and he goes to show you a type of person he is. He didn't just ignore it because he did something else today. No, he goes and saves the people. Come to find out, it's a kid and everything in the van. He saves them. He makes a couple of calls after that, and he lets the people know, hey, this was going to, I guess he calls the what do you call it, first responders to come check it out, ambulance and whatnot. And Jonathan, actually, believe it or not, he's like, I'm not going to even stick around. He doesn't do the applause thing. I guess maybe in the beginning he probably did. I don't know, y'all. We haven't written that far. But right now, at this point in his life, he made sure that everything was safe and everything can continue moving forward. And then he just dipped out. Maybe he's done. He's tired of paperwork, so that's why he's not really leaving his. Y'all know he does tell people in the vehicle who he is, though. Okay, so after that, the medical service arrived and everything. He dips out and he makes his way to a restaurant called the Cove. And I call it the Cove because why? It's in Hawaii. Come on, y'all. Come on. So anyway, so he and all other people at the all of the other officers that see him, he's a detective. So I'm not gonna say he's prestige or anything, but he's been at the PCPD for a while, so people know him, right? And they kind of like the way he works and whatnot. So anyway, Jonathan, he's there kicking it with all the people and having a good time. um I guess they having a few drinks, popping back a couple of brewskis or whatnot, and then there's this phone call that comes, right? And I guess maybe I don't know. When I'm having fun, I might blink. I generally put my phone away, but let's say that Jonathan went on and answered the phone, and then there's this this voice, this ominous voice, this dude, with the little accent and whatever. Hey, Pollo, whatever. And yes, I did. I looked up a Hawaiian term for pig. I think Ho'opolo. I hope I said that right. And yes, I did look it up on the internet, y'all. I had to look it up because I wanted to get the character, the omnious character, like, I don't know, some personality. Um, and anyway, so Jonathan, basically he looks out the window, and I mean, imagine you look out the window, there's a whole, I don't know, let's say at least 10 guys out there, right? You got a lot of guys in cars pointing assault rifles at the building you're in. So I guess, in the process of trying to get down at the same time, you're trying to let everybody know, but it happens so fast. So bullets are coming through the window, and think about it. They police, right? This not TV. They police. In real life, most people, when they hit a gun, they tend to get down. I mean, it's just what it is, right? You didn't really have to grow up like that. I mean, even just watching TV, everybody tells you to get down. Why? Because most people shoot center mass in the chest area. That's where most people aim at. That's how the targets are made. So that's a subconscious thing. So if you get down low enough, you might not get hit. You feel what I'm saying? So everybody knows to get down. So I'm writing it like that. Most of the cops get down. A few get hit because there's so many bullets. We have to register the sound of the glass and realize what's happened. But most people get down. So most people aren't even hit. And most cops, they do cop stuff. They whip out their gun. I don't know if they still going through the adrenaline, and they return fire. We can't necessarily see, but we know that bullets are coming through. So when we return fire. They return fire. Some guy, busts in the door. You know what I mean? I guess shooting through, hitting a couple ain't good enough. So he comes in. He sprays them. He sprays the entire bar. But again, Jonathan is there. You know what I mean? He had already recovered. He's kind of like from an angle, and the guy doesn't see him, and he pops him, pop, pop, right, and tries to bring him down. Long story short, in the process of trying to grab the guy, he's hit by the orb. So again, we got a bar full of people, right? Only so many of them got hit, and I mean, you got and getting hit. It doesn't necessarily mean you're dying. You could have got hit in the arm or the leg, right? So to them, this guy either deployed or something came through the window for those who can see it. And to them, it looked like it's a weapon. It hits him. And as you all know, anytime one of the orbs, okay, remember, this is the origin story for the Earth-based heroes. This is their origin story. This is how it happened. Whatever they were doing at the time, and then orbs or these symbols, technically they are the zodiac sign that runs into these guys, right? And those zodiac signs are encased in an orb, a glowing orb, and they hit the individual that they need to hit. So as you can look behind this picture I got on, Pulse has a symbol behind him. So imagine that being in a glowing orb. And that's what hits the human or the recipient. So anyway, Jonathan, the light spreads across his body, and then it's gone. Remember, it gets too bright for human eyes to bear. So we can't see what actually happened, but technically, I think I already told you guys, they're teleported somewhere. They're transported, not teleported. They're transported. And you'll learn further as we go through the story, okay? I love this because book one, I call myself. Now, every sub chapter, yeah, I kind of look at it like it's its own little episode or whatever. But book one sets the tone for everything. It gives you insight on each of the characters and whatever they were doing, the type of personalities. And there's more coming, okay? And I don't really want to ruin it for you, for anybody who doesn't know. I don't want to ruin it for you. So anyway, Carl's buddy who he thought got hit, Jonathan's buddy Carl, who he thought took it in the chest, right? He believes him. Carl is gone, but Carl isn't. Just the wind was knocked out of him while a few things were happening. But I don't know if you guys know what the last. Oh yeah. So I've been looking online now, and they almost have like a body armor it's thin, almost like a shirt. You guys seen John Wick? Come on. So the same material, I guess now you can actually purchase it. It's crazy, right? They showed it in the movie, but now you can purchase it. Military police, and I guess agents, if you will, people that actually run around with guns, Homeland Security, all those guys. whenever you don't see all the big bulk, I call it a second chance or last chance vest. Let me see. Call from knocked out him. Oh, I call it a last chance vest. Maybe that's what we called it in the military, right? It's a piece of body armor like a wife beater T-shirt, right? But it stops the actual bullet from penetrating. Now, I guess if you got a tight shot, it might tear through, but on the norm, it basically it deflects, stops. You still have to deal with the impact, but you know it's just what it is. So anyway, Carl jumps up. He sees his boy disappearing. He want to spaz out real quick, and so I guess we're in a place where all the cops were. That place was intentionally attacked, not just to hit an individual, but it was attack on the police. And to me, the police, they tend to answer when they attack. So that's why I said they at war. The Barracudas are now at war with the PCPD. Now, if I was going to still tell this story, if I was going to tell this story and it was Jonathan Watson who disappeared, and if we continued on what happened after that, because that's it. And then, right, the clip went off, right? Because this is the story of saving the universe. This isn't the story of Jonathan Watson or Pulse. But if I was still going to tell the story, I would say that the police all went back and beat up all the well, maybe not all of them, but they're gonna go back to the jail, the ones that not impounded, the ones they put in jail or incarcerated. Yeah, they're gonna go back and beat them up because they lost like one of the top guys. You know what I mean? And they gotta find a way to release that anger. So yeah, a couple of them probably would have got fired later too. I'm just letting y'all know how I write. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of looking at it like, what would the person do? How would they react? Especially Carl, right? But you'll find out maybe about Carl later. Anyway, y'all. That was today. That's what we discussed, Jonathan Watson, because what we're doing is we're doing an introduction, right? That's what book one is. It's a big introduction. Like I told y'all guys, it's a it's an origin story for the Earth-based heroes. We do have 3 Alpha Guardians. They will be making an appearance soon, but this is an origin story for the Earth-based heroes. Okay. Again, this gives us a starting point, and it's a way of telling you guys um how we interact with the story. What is Earth gonna do with everything? Well, Earth is basically gonna be the center of attention. And that's because I mean I don't know if you guys. I mean, it just, to me, it was kind of common sense. I think I mentioned it in the book, but I just felt like it was common sense that we become ground zero, because anytime power has been transferred, regardless if it's a weapon, technology, human beings, power, right? Each one of these characters, they powerful, right? So outside of power, how else can we chill? That's like somebody gets left money, right? You get an inheritance. They turn the business over to you. Let's say that the people that came before you grew the business. You become powerful immediately. But with power comes great responsibility. You guys have heard it all before, but this is real, right? With great power comes great responsibility. It's just what it is. So even if you did inherit and you own the business, now think about, well, I don't know, maybe at that time you probably too selfish to really see it, but if they grew the business up, there are a whole entire core of people, right? Depending on how big the business is, they need you to make the right decision so the business can prosper, so that they don't lose their jobs. So with great power comes great responsibility, and that's just even in any other type of things, right? If you got the new high speed something, you move faster than everybody else. I mean, everybody's gonna come for it because they want some too. They want to be able to do what it is you do. So I don't know if you guys, I'm a sci-fi guy. We do Flux Vision. We're going to get back to Jonathan and all of that, but this is Flux Vision. So have you guys seen, I want to say the UN, they're practicing with the jetpacks? Man, I thought that was so dope. Like Iron Man is it's like we're getting to a point where Iron Man is not no longer going to be sci-fi. It won't. And that's because they're actually got guys, pretty much in a yeah, yeah. They got upper body and lower body propel propellant. I can't want to say the word propellant, but they have something that, thrust, right? In the lower and around the hands and possibly in the back. I didn't see that, but I did see them on the feet or the lower legs and in the forearm hand type area. They had these thrusters and they were able to fly across water, right? And it wasn't just like a short, a little short distance. No, they flew across the water to like one of those huge ships that out there that can't actually dock because they'll scrub to the bottom of the seabed. So they have to stay out. And these guys flew from the shore all the way out there. And this was on I want to say TikTok. I want to say TikTok. I could be wrong. It could have been on Instagram. I don't know. But I saw it and I was like, wow. And they said these guys from the UN. I'm like, wow, it's happening. Even if we're not talking about it over here, we're already involved. I mean, come on, man. We're the States, right? We're already involved. So, maybe it's just top secret right now, y'all. But hey, Iron Man might no longer be sci-fi. So we might be, have to hang him up, man. Because I mean, he'll be considered real then. Yeah. And all you gotta do is put in an extremely intelligent man who understands technology and probably I'm gonna say some type of quantum physics. I know he understands physics. So anyway, that's what we was doing today, y'all. We was talking about Jonathan Watson. He I got his picture up. Yeah, Pulse, right? And Pulse, well, we already went over his power set and all of that. But Jonathan Watson, a cop, right? So if you've been here since the beginning, where's that picture? If you've been here since the beginning, here we go. We've done Den Han. We've done Monet Lagos. Today we did Jonathan Watson. And if you focus, you look across the top. I hope you guys can see that, right? This is Aquarius Den Han, the guy from China. Monet is from Manaus, Brazil. Monet Lagos. She's an Aries. Today we knocked out Jonathan Watson, right? He's a Taurus, right? We did Jackson Swade, right? He's a Gemini. We'll get to her. We did Eloise Rothstein right here. She's a Leo. We did Tholen Liebenberg from Africa, Johannesburg. He's a Libra. We did Marae Collins, the young lady from El Paso, Texas. That's right. I had to show my city love. El Paso, Texas. She's a Scorpio. And we did Afanasi Sidorov, who started the whole story off. And he's a Capricorn. So we basically knocked out the Earth-based heroes. And that means that since today is Thursday, that means Friday and Saturday, we're going to knock out probably a couple other people. But we shall see. Yeah, I'm a little excited, y'all. Like I eat this up. And remember, like we just hit page 39. So the book actually begins, it says page 5. You got to go through all this other stuff, the intro, the title page, all of that. But the actual book, you start reading the story on page 5. So 35 pages in, we've already introduced the main Earth-based heroes and what they were doing, the introductory to your Zodiac Defender, okay, or your Zodiac Guardian. So you have all of those guys, and all we have left: one, two, three, four. We have four Guardians left. So again, remember, I've already stated that this is an origin story for the Earth-based heroes. And I guess maybe I shouldn't say Earth-based, but they're from Earth. So now we're going to get into the Alpha Guardians and aliens. Okay. And this is just the Guardians, not everybody that's in the story. Okay. This is who you follow, right? If you're Aries, you follow Monet. Well, you follow Ember. Today we talking about, so let me put them back up. So if you're a Taurus, this is who you would follow through the story, and it will help you. I mean, he's bullheaded. He's just like Taurus, right? Um, you can follow your character and how your character run into you guys. I don't know if you remember, because I know it's a lot of characters, and some people might get discombobulated or whatever. But if you ever read those Which Way books, I don't know. I mean, when I was a kid, it was a big deal. You know, you could pick this part of the story and go this route, or you can pick um, another part of the story and go that way. So it was a which way book. Now, Flux Continuum is not a which way book, but using that same theory, right, or that same process, you just follow your character. It's all one story. It doesn't change around, doesn't do all that. It's all one story. But to help a new reader gravitate and understand that none of these characters are more important. Each one of them has a job to do. They are a defender of one of the constellations. Each constellation, let me, what time is it? I got 15 minutes. Give me a second. Put that down. Bam. Let's drop both of these. So, if you guys can see this correctly, you can't, can you? Can you see it? No, you can't see it. Well, basically, this is a star chart of what we see when we look into the night sky. I wish you guys could see this down here, but it's too reflective. Basically, it shows what you will see when you look into the night sky. February 19th to March 20th. What is it? So we passed that. So we should actually be in Aries now. So you should be able to go, and I wish you guys could see it. This is a poster. So how do I get a copy of this? Maybe I have to purchase it digitally, and that way I can show you guys what I'm talking about when I refer to the night sky. But and I was gonna go from there, and each constellation has multiple alpha, beta. I don't know what C Charlie. I guess I don't know. I don't know what C is. They have the Greek words like alpha all the way to gamma. I know they have alpha to gamma. In each constellation, they have different size stars, different type of stars, or the way they categorize stars. So for Post or Taurus right now, because that's who we're talking about, even though I know we're in the Aries time in real life, each one of these guys have an alpha star. Each one of these constellations has an alpha star. And that alpha star in the Flux Continuum series is considered an omniversal star. And an omniversal star is a star that shines across every dimension simultaneously. Okay? So if if you're in the Marvel universe and you're in the DC universe, that won't work. Yes, it will. You can both see the same star. So if you want to know on the principles of the flux continuum, how can we traverse from one dimension to another dimension? There has to be a way, and it has to be greater than us. All right. We didn't come down here and create something that's going to tear a hole. No, 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 no. It's already something that's being done. We just capitalize on that, able to use that scientific theology or ideology or whatever, and maybe, we end up making a mistake a few times and burst holes or whatever, tears or whatever. But it's already being done in the greater celestial scheme of things, right? In the cosmic scheme of things. So each one of those alpha stars has a planet that orbits around it. Each one of those planets that orbit around that alpha star has an alignment with one of Earth's pyramids. So when you want to say, how did we get from point A to point B? How did everything started with Earth? That's why we always say Earth is the center of the universe. That's in the flux continuum. Okay. So again, like, hey, I told y'all guys, I did a lot of work when I put this together, and we're just on page 39 right now. I need you guys to know that across these books, there's so much that's going to happen. So each one of these zodiac guardians, each one of your zodiac guardians has to travel during an alignment period from Earth to the constellation. And when you get to that constellation, if you're not vibrating, if you're not vibrating at the right frequency, right? The Flash already taught us this. You vibrate at a certain frequency. Everybody that's in the same universe, we share a vibration. So to get to another dimension, right? You get to that place, and you wonder why you can't. You can still see the star. Remember, you can see the star, but why can't you see the planet? Well, you're not vibrating at the right frequency. So if you vibrate at the right frequency, all of a sudden you share the same frequency as that planet. You can see it. That's why we use portals in the flux continuum, because a portal helps syncs your vibratory pattern when you cross from one dimension to another. If you had a tear and you didn't have a stable portal, that's probably why you would glitch. It's just ideologies, y'all. It's just the theories we come up with. Because again, I'm watching sci-fi just like you guys are. Hey, but look, I wanted you guys to know, how in depth flux continuum is. Okay, I'm gonna put this clip back on for you one more time. Let you go ahead and gawk at that, enjoy it, and hey, hit me up, see me. My shop is always open. You guys already know about the books and what's going on. Yeah, I eat, breathe, and sleep this. Please follow, please share, please subscribe. Help us elevate and grow this business. Thank you.
Jonathan Watson, Pearl City Police Department, PCPD. Pearl City, Hawaii, USA, Earth. It's been a long day for Detective Jonathan Watson. His unit has spent the day busting a local drug cartel. It took Jonathan 6 months to gather enough evidence for the appropriate warrants, and now he has last to complete his paperwork that chronicles the day's events. He drops the paperwork off at Lieutenant Strickland's office. A retired veteran that still has some fight left in him, Lieutenant Strickland waves Detective Watson into his office and completes his phone call. That was an awesome job today, Detective. You kept your head, and your team brought down the Barracuda Surf Gang, the lieutenant said with a grin on his face. Jonathan nodded in agreement and drops the report on the desk. The gang's 2 homicidal leaders got away, sir. Eno and Wall. The lieutenant reassures Detective Watson that they will be found. Once he leaves the precinct, Jonathan jumps onto his motorcycle. After an excellent day's work, he decides to stop at the Cove, a local hangout frequented by officers from his precinct. The Cove has become the traditional meeting spot for celebrations after a big bust, and taking down the gang is a massive win for the PCPD. This criminal organization is finally being abolished, and the people of Pearl City can sleep a little safer. Jonathan mentally recaps the day's events while he rides to the bar. The PCPD were so close to finally apprehending Eno and Wall, but those maniacs managed to slip away during the raid. These two have caused enough mayhem in Pearl City, totaling in the hundreds of millions. His thoughts are interrupted by a traffic jam. He can't quite make out the reason for the delay. After maneuvering his bike through the vehicles, he arrives at the source of the incident. Immediately jumping off his bike and into action, Jonathan runs to assist those in the accident involving a minivan and a delivery truck. 3 people are trapped inside the minivan. Jonathan calls the accident in and checks on the passengers. I'm Detective Watson. Is everyone okay? He asks the man assisting the people trapped inside. Hey, Detective, I'm Tommy, he responds while helping the mother out the window. The family are a little shook up, but everyone survives with minor injuries. After getting the family out of the minivan, Jonathan checks on the truck driver. The driver is more concerned about the children in the minivan. Once emergency medical services arrive at the location, Jonathan briefs the paramedics. After he has done all he can to assist, Jonathan continues on his way to the cove. When he arrives at the bar, Carl greets him at the door. Carl's been his partner and best friend for 8 years. The bar is full of policemen celebrating the PCPD's raid on the surfer gang. Carl cheers and the crowd lifts their glasses in honor of Jonathan. To my partner, Detective Watson. Thanks for the save today, brother. Carl lifts his glass higher and shouts out to those in the bar. Detective Watson! Those in the bar echo Carl's words. Detective Watson! Watson's quick thinking earlier saved several officers' lives. He located a set of grenades, which were daisy-chained and could have killed several police officers. When gang members began to flee the hideout, their getaway was cut off, and they ran straight to the PCPD. All the police in the bar enjoyed themselves for a couple of hours, celebrating making a difference today. Until Jonathan receives a mysterious telephone call from an unknown number. He moves away from the others as he answers. Hello? An ominous voice speaks in an alarming tone. You messed up really big this time, oh Apollo. Jonathan looks up from the phone and out the window. He sees a squad of heavily armed mercenaries aiming assault rifles at the bar. Before he can shout a warning to his comrades, bullets shatter the windows of the bar. With barely any time to react, Jonathan drops to the floor. He's helpless to watch as his partner takes a bullet to the abdomen. Jonathan draws his weapon and begins firing at the gunmen outside. Their firepower easily overwhelms Jonathan's single-shot attack. There's chaos in the bar as every cop reacts and aimlessly shoots out the window. A shooter kicks in the door and sprays the room. 2 more cops are hit. You're gonna learn not to mess with the Barracudas, the shooter yells as bullets continue to rip through policemen. Jonathan fires twice and hits the shooter in the leg. The shooter is down, but the door remains open. Jonathan kicks the door closed and makes his way over to unarm the shooter. When he reaches the shooter, a glowing object flies through the window, striking him. Jonathan is immediately incapacitated and begins to hover above the floor. The shooter crawls to the door as Jonathan's form is overtaken by light. Those in the bar witnessing the event will describe it as an unknown weapon. When the shooter attempts to flee, he's shot in the back. They continue to shoot at the attacking gang members. Jonathan's body intensifies until it's too bright to bear. When the onslaught of bullets stop, multiple vehicles can be heard screeching away. Jonathan's glowing body flickers and coalesces upon itself until it completely vanishes. Carl finally recovers from having the wind knocked out of him, just in time to see Jonathan's form disappear. Carl was still wearing his last chance vest, and to think he almost took it off earlier. What the are the words that escape Carl's mouth. Everyone attempts to rationalize an open attack on a bar full of policemen. The officers that didn't survive will be avenged. The Barracuda Surf Gang are now at war with the PCPD.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, you guys. It's just me talking about the story, giving you some insight on it. Again, asking you guys to share, subscribe, and letting you see, where I put my heart and all my blood, sweat, and tears at. Thank everybody for showing up today. Truly appreciate it. Whenever you're ready, you guys check out my shop. It's there. If you're on any other platform, check me out anyway on any other social medias. Reach out. Thank you again for joining us. And yeah, we out, y'all. We out.